Formschwankungen, er ist Südamerikaner und der ist halt im Kopf nicht so völlig fokussiert, wie es beispielsweise der Max oder wie es der Sebastian war.
These highly controversial words spoken by the brutal Helmut Marko would make any driver anxious, especially one with a Red Bull contract that expires soon. But has this anxiety affected his driving and spilled over to his family? The demands of the Formula One world undoubtedly have an impact on his family life. Moreover, the comments from Helmut Marko might have added to the challenges Perez faced, given the scrutiny he was under due to his recent performances. Consequently, he has taken steps to prioritize his mental well-being. Formula One is my sport, my life, my passion. If you are having such a hard time at work, it is difficult to be cheerful at home with your wife and children. That's why I hired a mental coach, because my family deserves to have that cheerful father at home, revealed Checo on Twitter, now X. It appears that Marko and Perez had a private conversation to address any concerns regarding this issue. As a result, the atmosphere at Red Bull seems to have eased for now. Nonetheless, Perez must concentrate on his performance on the track while also managing his mental well-being, as it could potentially impact his continued association with Red Bull. Perez kicked off the year with a bang, claiming victories in Saudi Arabia and Azerbaijan. After 4 thrilling events, he found himself just 6 points behind Verstappen. It seemed like the stage was set for a fierce battle. However, the first hints of trouble appeared as early as round 3 in Australia, when Christian Horner, the Red Bull team principal, admitted that Checo had a mishap, crashing out during the first qualifying session and starting the race from the back of the grid. The season continued with more unexpected twists and turns. In Monaco, Checo's qualifying run barely got started before it was cut short. And from that point on, well, let's just say that the list of driver errors became too long to include them all here. But on the other side of the paddock, Max is speeding toward his 3rd consecutive Formula One Drivers' Championship, breaking records left and right like a true racing maestro. Perez's Japanese Grand Prix turned into a bit of a comedy of errors, while Max Verstappen was off to a flying start, grabbing pole position at Suzuka by a whopping 0.6 of a second over the new kid on the block, Oscar Piastri. Perez had a more adventurous time starting in 5th place. He practically became the star of the show on the opening lap when, at the first corner, he decided to give Lewis Hamilton a tap not once, but twice, and the second tap left his car's front wing in a sorry state. Now, in the eyes of the race stewards, the Hamilton tango was just a part of the racing dance. But when Perez cheekily overtook Fernando Alonso under the safety car while heading into the pit lane for repairs, that earned him a 5-second penalty, and that was just the first of his 2 missteps in the race. The second blunder came later when he did a fender bender with Kevin Magnussen at turn 11, causing even more front wing chaos. It all culminated in Perez having to throw in the towel and retire from the race due to the Frankenstein-ish condition of his car. So where's the problem? Why does Perez keep dropping the ball? Or is it that RB is dropping his ball to throw to Max? One intriguing theory making the rounds is that the RB19 might have been tailored more for Max Verstappen than for Perez. But hold on a minute, that doesn't quite explain why Checo was hanging so close in the championship race after the 5th round in Miami with a mere 13-point gap. The head honcho over at Mercedes chimed in at Zandvoort post-summer break. He claimed that Verstappen had this uncanny knack of outshining every teammate and suggested it had to do with his ability to craft a car that's a bit like a wild stallion, fast but tricky to tame. Now, in the good old days before the ground effect era that rolled in last season, this might have been doable. But the new underfloor aerodynamics essentially tie the engineers' hands, making them design the cars in a specific way. Plus, the window for optimizing these machines is tighter than a race car's turning radius. Perez added an interesting twist to the story during the Zandvoort race, offering a fresh perspective on why his performance had taken a dip since Miami. He floated the idea that the car's development might be leaning more in favor of Verstappen than himself. The last few races, I've been like a step or 2 behind and always thinking consciously about how I have to drive the car. Sometimes, with how the car has been developed, it doesn't really suit me as much. so I have to work harder for it. Now Sergio's father has joined the conversation, diving headfirst into the debate. He's asserting that Red Bull isn't really keen on giving his son a car that suits his driving style, and that Checo was essentially brought in as a backup to play second fiddle. He made these remarks while speaking to the Mexican media outlet Esto in the aftermath of the 2023 Japanese Grand Prix. Checo continues to struggle with the car in something that we have not detected, Checo's dad went on. The car is set for Max. Max drives with all the grip in the front, and Checo has driven all his life and all the time he has driven with the grip in the back. So today Checo has to adapt to driving a car, and Max doesn't. Taking into account all the comments from Red Bull and various drivers throughout the F1 grid, it seems like this father might be grasping at straws, trying to provide excuses for his son's performance struggles. So is Sergio Perez about to do the shuffle out of Red Bull, opening the door for Liam Lawson? What value does Perez serve on the team? Verstappen is undeniably the driving force behind Red Bull Racing, often sparking debates about whether his teammate should be replaced. However, the Japanese Grand Prix shed light on why Verstappen benefits from having a teammate like Sergio Perez by his side. In the world of Formula One, the perennial debate revolves around the ideal driver lineup for an F1 team. However, when we take a closer look at the most successful F1 teams of the past, a clear pattern emerges. A top-tier team typically consists of a star driver and a solid supporting teammate. The star driver's reputation usually precedes them. They're the one who can make the most of a top-tier car. In a championship battle, the star driver is expected to outshine the competition. Everyone aspires to be the star, but the supporting role is just as crucial, both for the team's dynamics and the star driver's success. When you introduce a second driver who's also gunning for championship glory, things can get complicated. It can lead to division within the team and hinder the car's development. A straightforward approach is often the key to efficient car development. Each driver, no matter how similar, has unique preferences, and trying to accommodate both can compromise the car's performance. Plus, this setup helps maintain peace on the track. When two drivers are too evenly matched, they might end up battling each other. This not only costs precious time, but can also lead to unfortunate accidents. Such incidents can dent a team's performance, rob them of points, strain their budget, and impact their finances. Also, when drivers are too evenly matched, they usually expect similar salaries. Even though driver contracts fall outside the budget cap, having two-star drivers with hefty price tags isn't a financially wise move for any team. Lastly, the mental aspect plays a significant role. And this is why we totally understand Checo's need to hire external help. Here. A star driver who feels unwavering support from their team both on and off the track tends to perform at their peak. If you introduce a driver who challenges their leading position, it can erode their confidence. In essence, the formula for success in Formula One often involves a star driver complemented by a solid supporting teammate, fostering an environment where both can thrive. An ideal number 2 driver in Formula One is someone who not only supports the development of the team's car, but also consistently contributes points to maximize the team's performance in the Constructors' World Championship. Despite Perez's challenging performance in Japan last weekend, he undeniably meets these requirements. As evidenced by his second-place position in the drivers' standings and Red Bull Racing's clinching of the World Championship title at Suzuka, Perez has played a pivotal role in their successful season. His ability to secure valuable points and complement the team's star driver, Max Verstappen, has been a key factor in Red Bull's triumph. Are Red Bull Racing on the hunt for a new driver in 2025? Well, it seems like the successor to Perez isn't quite ready to step into the driver's seat just yet. Besides, Perez has been doing the minimum this season, and he's got a decent shot at finishing second in the World Championship battle. The Constructors' title is already wrapped up. When it comes to races that Max Verstappen didn't win, Perez snagged 2 out of 3 victories, showing he's often in the right place at the right time. Sure, we can all wish for more, but let's keep it real. Verstappen's on fire.